Well, here we are. Me, my parents, and Liz are just sitting. Oh, hold on. I need to take care of some. There we go. Me, my parents, and Liz just sitting at the table of the food court of a mall packed with last-minute Christmas shoppers. How did you get anything? Not that I expected this to go, really. But I couldn't tell if this was better or worse than whatever plan I had to try and talk to Liz on Christmas. Probably better. If she blew up at me for what I did to Damien and the pains, at least it would be in front of my parents. Thankfully for my hands, my parents were taking point of the small talk and getting Liz caught up on what she'd more or less been left out on. Well, Mom was. Dad was just awkwardly picking up his leftover fries. Same, Dad. Same. Well, that's terrible, Liz said, after Mom finished her recap. How would a long neck affect your voice? It's fine. Certainly brought it down on myself. I, wink, noted on my phone. There are other words for describing someone writing something down. And a jackass like Inco would certainly know all of them. Damien said you and him had fought, but I'll admit I was too angry at Uncle Mike for hurting Damien to really pay attention, Liz said, her expression darkening. Sorry, buddy. I'm changing the lamps around the mall. Oh. Huh. But what? What? Mom had a slightly confused expression on her face. That was one of the spots I'd intentionally left the details fuzzy for them. Your uncle hurt Damien? But he's such a nice boy. Mom was aghast. Oh, well, yes, it was one. Liz started to explain, but her eyes drifted over to me, and my expression stopped her dead in her tracks like a dropkick. Do not now. Liz, being the bride girl that she was, picked up where the cards were on the table right now, pivoted smoothly. Oh, it was during the formal, and an accident with everything that had been going on. It was an accident. Uncle Mike should have done better, she concluded with a huff. Oh, that's just terrible. Family shouldn't fight. Liz looked at my mom, then to Dad, then back to me. I agree, yes. I noticed a flash in her eyes as she looked at me. I couldn't tell what the meaning was, but I got the general intent. All right, Liz, might as well do this. I scratched out a note on my phone and showed it to Dad. He read it, looked to Mom, who was trying to kickstart the small talk storm with Liz again, and then shifted his gz to Liz. Also, I think small talk's 2 words, right? Yeah, it's not a compound. Gz. Surely whatever text program you use picked that one up right. It was staring at me. After a moment, he returned his focus to me and simply nodded. Thanks, Dad. And we still gotta get stuff for Inco, he said, standing up. How about we pair off and he can catch up with Liz here? Well, we go and do that. Wouldn't want to ruin any surprises, right? Oh, yes, wouldn't that actually be smart? Yes, actually, that would be smart. I'm sorry, Liz, but we probably should do that. How about we meet up back here in an hour? Liz nodded, her head bobbing on the end of her long neck. I mean, I imagine her muscles are pretty strong to keep that whole thing stable. Or it just undulates a lot. Of course, Mr. Nito, I'll make sure Inco is here right on time. She affirmed the plan with a smile. Wouldn't she go with a smirk, considering who she is as a person? And actually, would Liz smirk? I feel like she's smart enough not to smirk. Like, it would just look like a smile. Dad gave me a parting pat on the shoulder, and I watched him break off and move into the crowd. As they left, their hands were clasped together as they walked. Why are you doing that twice? Why? Buddy, I got a very specific complaint. As they left, as they walked. You don't need both. You don't need both. Both is also kind of fucking awkward. You don't need both. They are leaving. As they walked. Are they on a fucking motorcycle? Are they taking a bike? Are they on the elevator? Because otherwise, they're just walking. You don't have to specify that. If anything, again, because you're using this extremely specific sentence structure that implies it's annoying. Just don't do it. I mean, admittedly, this guy didn't pick up on gz. which you should pick up on a on a second read, because like your spell checker would say, buddy, and put a little line under it. If you didn't, you might have written it in a notepad, actually. If you write it in a notepad, then I can understand. If you write it in a notepad, that would explain why some people have the double lines. Fucking get Google Docs or Open Office or something, man. Or LibreOffice or whatever the current hit stage is. Or get a fancier text editor, the Notepad++. In fact, I'm pretty sure in Notepad++ you can set it up that it just does double lines. I don't know. I'm complaining about nitpicks. I would do that on a new line, because it is supposed to be him stopping. What felt like an old memory popped into my head. Your folks together, they love each other. Oh, wait. Your folks together? They love each other, too, yeah? It was the groom, Mr. Yadakon's friend. Back at the wedding when he tried to give me advice about living. Such a weird, recurring character to use. At the time, I honestly didn't know my parents well enough to really answer him. They never really showed any obvious displays of affection in the scant times they were around me. Mostly because the times they were around me, they were exhausted or asleep. I don't know, man. That's the same thing for these guys. Olivia told me that they would only work that hard if they really cared about me, and I agree with her then, and I agree with her even more now, having been able to spend some time around them. They aren't good parents, but they care about me. They had you right out of fucking... Like, between your parents having you out of high school and immediately getting a good, successful architecture business off the ground, and Liz apparently starting a fucking business out of high school, apparently in this world, the world is your fucking oyster. The American dream is alive here, which is impressive as all fucking hell, given that it's very much dead in the real world. At least in the way that is culturally significant for the propaganda piece, puff piece that it is. What the hell's going on? Oh, Combo, you're here. Sorry. Sorry. I got so distracted that I forgot to say hello, Mo. I fucked up. I fucked up so bad. I dropped the ball. I dropped the ball, Em. The ball won. And this song was really nice. I hope this gets really dramatic and Inco gets to cry. I'll be so happy if Inco gets to cry. Again, actually, I just remembered he cried a lot already. Instagram would be nice if it was... Instagram always yells at me to get an account, and I'm like, I'm not getting a fucking account. Like, I know in Russia it's like just completely barred the frick off, but I'm not getting an account. It's like, okay, then you won't get to see the pictures. You want video controls? Sorry, you have to make an account. Bye-bye. Screw you. And seeing Mom giggling at something Dad said is a lot... Liz is like, Inco, for fuck's sake, I'm still here. Because remember, Inco, Anon talks to himself, but he never really seems to drift off in a way that causes people to really point that out. It's his mumbling. Inco seems to actually just take forever to... Yeah, we're doing that. We're doing it. Even with all difficulty in their lives, which admittedly was almost entirely self-inflicted, they loved me. And I love how fast you've turned around. Your parents were the shittest people like a week ago, and now they're the best parents ever. Even when they were tired, frustrated, or angry, they didn't stop caring. I wasn't sure what this realization or feeling was, but I could tell it was important. Maybe I'll ask Randy about it, or maybe I'll just ask them. Inco? Things brought me out of my fugue and back to the overly packed shopping mall. Are you okay? Yeah, just thinking. Inco noted. Wink! I'm going to do that every time, and the reason I'm doing it is because I'm being a sassy little bastard. It is not necessarily a complaint, because noted for Inco is basically like said for another character. I just think it's word choice problems, right? It's like you're title dropping the whole damn time. Going off of what Damien said, you've been doing that a lot, she replied with a soft smile. Made of cotton candy. Better late than never. Come on. Wink, Inco noted. Back. We took off into the mall, going the opposite way from my parents. I would take a periodic glance at Liz, whose head was casually bobbing around, looking at stores, or even popping into stores as we walked past like a drive-by window shopper. For whatever level of inconvenience that neck must cause her, it clearly has its moments too. I mean, you were at the arcade, where it was a thing. She wasn't pushing the issue, but only an idiot couldn't tell she wanted to talk. Clearly, new Inco must be different, because I'd bet money old Inco wouldn't. I hope to God the writer is aware enough to know that this is exactly how people who are about to fuck up think, right? Like, I understand you want Inco to grow, but you want to know what's part of growing as a person and realizing you're an asshole? Is realizing that you're still an asshole, right? You don't magically heel turn. You're still a giant douche, and a lot of your habits and your instincts and all that is still asshole. You aren't done yet. You don't fix this in 4 days, and you thinking you have is part of the problem. But that would imply this is a well-written story that had like years to ferment, and I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Look, I'm not even going to criticize that, because that is like, you know, you give your concept a bit more thought and really consider the angles that a character goes through as they go along. Because like I said, there's a guy I know who said like Inco really feels like how some people he knows just rotted on the inside. Liz wasn't exactly the type to yell or get emotional. Or get particularly emotional. The only time I actually saw her lash out was that snipe she made at Olivia during the lunch date we had. Even then her voice was barely above speaking volume. So if she had choice words to say, I don't think we need to worry about making a scene. Any old place that was quieter than the rest would probably suffice. My eyes caught a little stuff store. What? Eternal Memories? Huh. I waved to get Liz's attention and navigated over to it. Sure enough, there was a sleepy-looking ankylosaurus behind the counter, and one old triceratops looking at a case of watches. The store was otherwise deserted. That'll work. I pointed my thumb inside, and she followed without a word. You're the one who can't speak, buddy. Telegram would be nice if it was success. Oh no, why did I go Telegram? Because I expect there to be new comments. We navigated back, and I started to get an idea what the store was about. Little knickknacks and odd items you could get engraved with messages. Watches, bangles, and necklaces, and more that they would custom inscribe with a message that was hard to wear away. Examples include, "Our love is eternal," or "And I will always remember you." Doesn't fit in terms of pentameter. Or wedding dates and the like were plastered on the wall by the front counter. The messages, which were happy in any other context, made my throat tighten slightly. If I hadn't screwed things up so badly with Olivia, maybe I'd be getting us something like that. But now, I'm pretty much resolved to settle for, I don't actively hate you. I sighed again. Man, you're sighing a lot after thinking. You must look very strange on the outside, just depressed as all hell. It's like you're constantly thinking and just kind of idling and then... Or wistful, I guess. Liz took note, but didn't say anything. Yeah, that seems to be her major character flaw right now. We worked our way into the back of the store, with some memorabilia racks blocking line of sight from the counter. Well, mostly. Liz's head predictably extended up to nearly to the ceiling before swinging back down the eye level. So... Let out a sigh, a little long breath through my nose, gave her a gentle nod. Gave her what nod I could, phone through. You should probably take off the scarf enough that she knows that your neck's in a brace, buddy. Feels important. What neck brace do you get a Brontosaurus? What neck brace do you get her? Is it big? Does it use wiring? I don't even know. To start, I apologize. I ruined the winter formal. I ruined what could have been a special night for you and Damien. I screwed up things for your boyfriend's family. Made you have to be angry at your uncle. She read my message, her face neutral. Is it a damned good poker face? Took mental note to never try to play her in card games. I think she'd be bad at them for different reasons, though. I've spent my time since I woke up thinking and coming to terms with what I was and what I did. But I'm a terrible person. But I'm trying to make things right. I've worked out things as best as I can with Randy and Damien. But I want to make it right for everyone. Vinny, Sophia, you, Olivia, and Mr. Ferris. Why is this such a weird combination? Why not make it... I mean, I guess he's writing it down, so it could be whatever. You might also notice this is the order of operations he's been doing things with in. She considered for a moment, adopting the trademark expressions of her eyes rolling up to the right. Because that's what she does in the video game. Her chin tilted away. I wasn't sure if it was something she forced herself to sell, the deep in thought thing, or she didn't realize she was doing it at all. But it was oddly endearing. Why? Because all of you deserve better than having to deal with the mess I'm in. And it's my mess. I need to clean it up. Not any of you. Good time to use bold and italics. Or asterisks if you want to avoid using formatting markup. For only a moment, her eyebrow arched before settling back to a neutral place. Inco, stop fucking writing the Renpai instructions, okay? You are not a visual novel engine. You are a person in the visual novel. I don't think she actually expected me to so bluntly own up to what I had done before. Well, I'm surprised. I didn't expect you to really take ownership of it all, Liz hummed. Liz, let's be real. I was a shit person, and I probably still am. Oh, hey, he's admitting that thing I said was kind of important. But I realize I can't bring everyone down to my level. I'll tell you what I told Damien. As always, Damien's mention caught her attention. Ugh, I tripped over that. When all this is over, if everyone's happy, but you all hate me, I'm fine with that. Surprising, that soured her expression. Do you think any of us want to hate you? That question seized my brain entirely. Well, no. I don't think anyone in this situation wants to hate me. I never really thought about it because being hated was what I deserved. I did so many awful things in such an unrepentant and hideous way that I had earned that hatred. But I don't think anyone wanted to have to do that either. I worked through that for a moment before returning to my phone. No. Well, I'll admit, I was angry at Uncle Mike for hurting Damien. Damien tried to explain what all had happened that night, but I wasn't having it. It was only after we left the hospital and got home that we sat down and talked. I indicated for her to continue. Spinning his wrist. You know the gesture. He looked so tired of everything. But he told me, again, everything he saw that night. Confronting you taking those pictures, him hitting you and then destroying your camera. He told me how mad he was when you were hurt. He was so angry at you that he was mad that you were maybe dead. Damien said that out of everyone. He was so angry at you that he was mad you were maybe whatever. He's mad at himself for I don't know. It's not a good day, okay? I remember him quietly crying yesterday when he told me. I had to swallow the lump in my throat before turning my focus to Liz. And when I thought through everything, I got mad at you too. I think you already figured that out. That was the case, she said, her head lifting to gaze out into the store. I nodded. I'm not sure we're really friends, Inco. I'm not entirely sure if we ever were. We talked at lunch, that was fun, and we did that thing at the arcade, but if I'm being honest, that was just as much an excuse to spend time with Damien as it was getting Olivia there. That one got a chuckle out of me. I remember noticing it myself fairly quickly during our trip. You weren't really trying to hide it. Wink, Inco noted. No, I guess I wasn't, she blushed after reading. Though you and Olivia weren't really trying to hide your feelings either. I don't really have a counter to that. What is it to counter? I don't really realized that at the time, of course, but I had feelings for Olivia, and she definitely did for me. But even after that, when I invited you two to that fancy lunch date, it was meant as a double date, so you could have a fancy meal with Damien, I finished for her. Hey, exactly, yes. You and I just never really talked or did anything together before. You were a friend of my boyfriend and a boyfriend of his sister. She sniffed and laughed wetly. Oh man! Now that's what I like to see in my writing, is a brand new combination. To laugh wetly. I'm not saying it's bad. I love it. Because she's sniffling, she's kind of teared up and she's trying to laugh and Ooh. See, here's the thing, right? The contrast of laughing with a weird adverb like wetly. Mwah! That's how you evoke something. That's why brevity is the soul of wit. She just slaps someone's brain right on the vocabulary. She drooped her head back down and pulled some tissues out of her bag and dabbed at her eyes. Sorry, Inco, you can't say dabbed in this day and age. I know what she's doing. Whoopsh. Did I just dab? You'll never know. What a weird friend group we were. I nodded again. I lashed out at Olivia at lunch. It was stupid of me. I know she was struggling, and I could see you were trying to defuse the situation, but I said it yourself. No one can do that quite like Damien can. Oh, at the lunch. Yeah, it was all I could offer at the moment. Actually, let's put on a different soundtrack because we're getting a bit tense. We're getting a little intense around here. Fuck off! Oh. Upbeat theme? Man, like I said, every one of the soundtrack in this is... Muddy wheelchair? Oh, that's the fucking rain. Ugh. I hate school, it makes me sad! I mean, this kind of fits considering how bad their relationship is on the rocks right now. If there was one. Actually, this reminds me that... So, I've been writing Ophinia the Exchange Student, and that's part of the reason why I need to replay the game, is that a lot of the events are going to stay the same. This reminded me, how the fuck do I get her in that arcade scene? Like, I have an idea, but I can't see Liz. Like, Liz is the one who has to make that move, right? Unless you use Damien the motherfucking crowbar for it. You're kind of shoehorned into, why would she do this to herself when she's already quite negative on the whole situation? That's what I like to call a big think. I think if that was where you two just started becoming people associated to my boyfriend for me. Which is awful to say out loud. Olivia's behavior set me off, and you were not very socially capable. I was certainly happy when you two got together, of course. Even with the Otacon's passing, there was a bright moment. She sighed. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing? She continued, and then she sighed. You're allowed to have... Listen, I know a lot of people are terrified of this because they're fucking stupid. And they don't know. You can ignore this, right? You can have a person's conversation take up multiple paragraphs. You don't have to end quotes in the same paragraph. You can make a quote longer than one paragraph. Unlock the power within yourself. But that high moment didn't seem to last long. Yatacon was dead, and I felt sad for his passing like everyone else. But I didn't know him as well as you or Olivia. And I could tell that it hit you both so very hard. But looking back, I should have tried to do or say anything. I didn't know either of you that well, but I could have tried. Said I was just happy to have more time to spend with Damien. A deep frown formed on her face. I want to say something, but between the feeling in my gut and my slow speed of communication, I let it sit. Oh boy. I like to think of myself who can see the big picture. I have everything planned out. Get the perfect job in art dealing, and I make enough money to take care of me and Damien, and he can just do the things that make him happy. If he finds a stable career, so much the better, but as long as we can be happy, that's fine enough for me. She was struggling what she wanted to say, and I had an inkling of what it was. Somehow I didn't see that happening to you or Olivia at all. I was in my own happy little world about Damien. I wasn't gonna say you and Olivia weren't wrong, Inco. Oh wait, I got that completely wrong. And somehow I didn't see what was happening to you or Olivia at all. I was in my own little world around Damien. I'm not gonna say that you and Olivia weren't wrong, Inco. You could just make that a comma and go on. You don't need to put a period there. But I should have been able to see where things were going and make an attempt to help. Even if it wouldn't have done anything. I like that. That says a lot about her, that she's like, listen, even if it didn't do anything, I still owe it to myself and you to try. You don't get all the blame in this. Man, why is everyone so fucking emotionally mature? I mean, I guess they are almost adults as far as society is concerned. It echoed what I was told several times now. Why I'd failed, certainly. More thoroughly than anyone else. But also everyone else failed too. Liz planned ahead, had the big picture sorted out early. In her own way, contributed to the train wreck we found ourselves in. God damn it. You're too sensitive again. I wanted to correct her. Tell her that it wasn't a big deal. But that would denigrate her and her feelings. How it impacted Damien. The pains. How it hurt Olivia. So I didn't. And I just nodded. Are you copying the roof scene with Fang? Doesn't work like that, buddy. Olivia was right, of course. The job I want would be perfect for helping her. But like I said back then, she had all the support and help and just wallowed away with her issues. I should have realized how much more serious those issues were. I treated her like a child throwing a tantrum and didn't pay attention to what she was actually going through. She turned the gaze back to me fully. You said you wanted to make it right. You wanted to make it all right, right? I nodded again. How? Expected question. I pulled out my phone and gave some of the abridged notations I ran over with Damien yesterday. Damien and I mostly repaired our relationship. It's not a probationary period which would be closed on good behavior. Liz seemed pleased about that. So, when he called me last night, he did seem in a better mood, and that must have been why. She said with a smile. Hold on. Oh, strange. Liz seemed... Oh, wait. Remember to whack his noggin for not telling you about me, though? She laughed. Don't worry, I didn't forget. What? Oh, she won't forget. You bingus. Don't be such a bingus. Ugh. I continued to explain Vinny, Sophia, Ferris, and Ben, and finally Olivia. As far as my considerations go, same as Damien. My breakdown of the Fix Everything plan was becoming truly a well-oiled machine now. It was a little sad unto itself, but working through all of this again and getting a generally positive response from Liz made me feel like it was really the right way to go. Why did this chapter start off with so much text about the shopping they were doing? When you have the actual meat and potatoes right here, buddy. You're allowed to cut that. If anything, that's what good writing is you kill that shit. You don't need it. It doesn't do anything. We know this already about him. Get to the part we're here for. Kiss Liz! I had an odd warming within me as I considered it. What it was, I couldn't place it. What it was or why it was. Something to think about more later. Liz spoke again, and considering the details, returned me to our conversation. Inco, as I said, I'm not really sure we were ever really friends. After what happened, the idea of becoming friends with you was just unpleasant. But I've done my own thinking, and you've done yours, clearly. Damien trusts you, and it sounds like Mr. Payne does as well. Whatever person you were before, you're clearly different now. I could feel my cheeks reddening slightly. You were always someone that spent a lot of time thinking. But I don't think you really... how should I say it? Thought about the right things? Really thought about things? Spend a lot of time in your head. Sometimes get lost in your own little world mid-conversation. But it never really felt like you were considering what other people had to say when it was different from what you thought. I winced, but I couldn't disagree. She was pretty on point as far as I could recollect and consider myself back before. But you seem to be actually thinking things through now. It's not all that different from when I was working out my plans for the future. The first time I met, I asked you what you wanted out of St. Hammond's, what you wanted to do with your life, and you remember what you said back then? I cast my mind back. It felt like a lifetime ago. I think I said I didn't know. She nodded. You said something like, I don't know, but it's gonna be big. I remember hearing you say that with a self-assured expression on your face. Do you know what I thought? I thought, oh, good, another one of these guys. No plan, no future. Her face felt... Again, stop being the Renpai engine! Oh yeah, that sounded like me. When you came around, I thought you were no different than the others. That you were self-centered, pretentious nitwit who only cares about his image. Who was this? Oh, it's Olivia. When you came around, I thought you were no different than others. I thought you were self-centered, pretentious midwit who only cares about his image. You didn't seem like the kind of person. Didn't seem like the kind of person who cared about how he got attention from others, just that he gets it. I recalled Olivia's word after I found her in the rain, after she swapped my picture for her art in the contest. I remember at the time thinking it was reductive, maybe a little correct, but it wasn't really right. But looking back on how everything fell apart after Yadakam passed away, I didn't do anything that wasn't all me. I realized that Olivia was more right than either of us knew at the time. Liz clued in on it earlier than that. I see. I think your gut ended up being pretty spot on, I wrote. Back before, maybe. But looking at you now, I think you're on the right track. I don't know what your long-term plans are, but being able to make some good short-term decisions is part of a greater strategy, too. Damien said you were making an honest effort and that he'd have your back. I was skeptical at the time, but now... She gave me a long, slow look over, meeting the new Inco properly for the first time. A human male spending his time with his pants for the first time in forever. In an overly large, poofy coat. In a scarf that barely covers up his neck brace. Prescription sunglasses that fail to cover up the black eye given by his best friend. How long do black eyes stick around? Two to 3 weeks. Oof. Buddy. It's been like a week. He's got a little while to go. Writes on his phone because of self-inflicted brain damage. Again, him having an actual notepad to write on, also to draw on and everything, would be, I don't know, it's so much better. He could personalize it with stickers. I met her gaze throughout it. I wasn't sure she could see that through the sunglasses, but I held firm under her scrutiny. She finished her observation, taking in the barely held-together mess of a person I was now, and nodded. I think he's right. You can count me in your corner, too, she concluded with a smile. A wave of relief washed over me. I started this conversation with hope it would go well, but resolved to accept it if it didn't. That it actually did go well lifted another weight off of my shoulders. Ah! What a puff piece. Liz may or may not have realized that, but she did her part in this. Now it was time for me to finish mine. Now it's on me to finish mine. Thanks, Liz. I won't let you or anyone else down again. Not if I can help it. That's all we need, Inco. And if you need any help with your more long-term ambitions, feel free to ask. I've got plenty of experience, she said with a bubbly laugh. I gave her a smile and a nod. Liz was a good person. Maybe not perfect, but she had her... Oh, let's turn on a different soundtrack because things are more positive now. It's a bit too energetic, but fuck it, let's go for it. Liz was a good person. Not perfect. She had her own difficulties with communicating, and trying to walk a line of being pleasant and keeping things real. Sometimes she failed, but as I looked to my phone, it settled on me that we sort of had that in common. Even before the formal, I had my own communication problems. A lot of them, really. I was realizing that more than anything. Sitting down and actually just talking can fix a lot of things. Certainly not everything. But sucking it up and talking through the hard parts makes everything else the easy parts. Made me realize that was the big problem I had with Olivia.